the Australian ref, he instantly pointed to the spot, which was then verified, confirmed by VAR. But it's interesting because those sort of tackles is not the word, but players grab strikers, the opponents when the corner's coming over, and pull them over, and they never get penalised. And before every corner is taken, pretty much in the Premier League and probably other leagues, the ref he puts his don't take the corner. He goes over to the couple near the goal, perhaps the goalkeeper and someone else, or sort of jostling each other and pulling each other over, and it's ridiculous. And I think people have said for a long time the refs have got to start toughening up on that. Give a penalty. Don't go over first. If you see one, it's not 6 and one, half the dozen the other. One pulling someone over, give a penalty or give a free kick the other way. So it's quite a surprise that he actually did that, to be honest. But all credit, and I think that maybe the secret to that, or what happened, he'd already gone over to them and said, "Stop this, lads, because I'll give a penalty." And he warned them. So of course, when the ball came over, they were nowhere near the ball. This defender pulled him over. So it was good that he actually gave that penalty, because it might warn other players. Corners are a melee of pushing and pulling and shoving, and they all seem to mostly get away with it. So I thought that was a good thing. Where I thought the ref might have done a bit better was, I don't know whether you saw it again, but there was one of our players was pretty much through on goal. He was a little way up, approaching the penalty area, and he was sort of hacked down. Now, the ref booked him for that, and we were sort of saying, hang on a minute, he's denied a goal scoring opportunity, because there was another defender right the other side of the pitch. If he'd gone through, I think it was our player Sarr, he was obviously going to have a pretty good shot, and it could well have been a goal. But he did a yellow card, so that went to VAR, and this seemed to take a long time. And eventually the VAR ref sent Gillett to the television at the side of the thing. So you think mostly when they do that, the VAR people are saying, yeah, look, you've probably got that wrong. It is a red card, because he denied the player a goal scoring opportunity. So of course there was a buzz, we're going to get that player sent off, which obviously it was quite early in the second half. Anyway, he went there. He spent ages looking at it. It gets silly. You think, why is it taking so long? And then he came back, and of course the ref then announces on his microphone his decision, whatever it is. And to everyone's rather surprise and annoyance, he said, the situation is the decision stands. The ref's my initial decision will stand. It's a yellow card. And the only thing, it's disappointing, actually reading press reports about it subsequently, most people said they felt it should have been a sending off, but he actually did the same thing in the cup final. And Palace player, if you remember, Dean Henderson, our brilliant goalkeeper, he came out and he actually didn't he touch the ball? I can't remember, but he touched the ball, and I think the general consensus was he should have been sent off, but he wasn't. He was given the benefit of the doubt, much to the relief of Palace fans. So that, and he at the time he was the VAR ref. He wasn't the match ref. He was this referee. And so in fact he actually said, no, it's not a red card. So I think Palace fans thanked him for that in their minds. And so the decision he did on Saturday, he kind of took the same view. I think he took the same merciful view, if you like, of someone who really should have been sent off. But anyway, that be that as it may. And then, of course, right near the end, Palace were given a penalty. So again, basically to get back to 3-3. And Mateta, he's pretty good with his penalties. He stood there quite confidently and he strode up and he put it to the other side of where the goalie was. So 3-3 with about 2 or 3 minutes to go. And then I think it was, I don't know whether you saw this, but there was a very good chance that I believe Nketiah, one of our subs, had come on. He put the ball across to Mateta, who I said had scored 3. He missed a couple of other chances. And it was like an open goal. Now, I'm not saying it was easy, but it looked easier to score than to miss, really.
Yeah.
He actually headed it, tried to kick it hard, I think, and it went over the bar. And there's an interesting television camera shot from the other end, from behind the goal. So that it's looking forward as Mateta misses it. And when it went over the bar, every visible Palace player sunk to their knees, hands on head. It was like they'd all been shot. It was quite an incredible thing. And of course, that was pretty much emulated in the stands. We could have won that game. And it was a great game to have come from 2-0 down. We could have won if JP had only scored that last bit. And in fact, he was interviewed afterwards, and it was quite noticeable because when you interview a player or see an interview player they're holding the ball because they get given the match ball if they score a hat trick, and they're normally bubbly and so happy, and he was really downcast. It was soon after the final whistle, and the interviewer said, "Well, you don't seem very happy." He said, "No." He said, "I should have scored. I should have scored that goal, and I've apologised." And he said, and apparently the manager said, "No, you've got nothing to apologise for," which he doesn't. He'd scored 3 goals, but the joy that would have been there if we won that game right at the end, a bit like we won the Liverpool game, would have been quite something. But it wasn't to be, and. The only other final bit on that match, I would say, is that in his press conference on Friday, I think Thursday or Friday, I think it's the day before, so Oliver Glasner gave his press conference about the match. And he said, well, yeah, last season we played them twice and they were both 0-0s. He said, this is what he said, so I won't be expecting a 3-3 draw. And after the match, he was asked about that. He said, "Yeah." He said, "I didn't predict this, did I?" Because 3-3 is relatively unusual, isn't it? But to actually say this won't be a 3-3 draw because were no goals between the two teams last year, was quite a prediction to make. But yeah, it was a brilliant game.